Hey there, my name is James Lee. Welcome to 5149, where I make videos about business, politics, and society. If you enjoy my videos, you can boost me by subscribing to my channel and by dancing like nobody's watching. Okay, today I want to talk about what the heck is going on with the Democratic Party because they are struggling to keep their story straight.
We will be able to pass $2,000 stimulus checks for the people next week.
There was $600 payments, as you know, in the $900 billion package that passed in December. This is $1,400. Together, that's $2,000.
It's time to raise the minimum wage so hardworking people earn at least $15 an hour minimum. We should have a minimum wage stand by itself, $15 an hour, and work your way up to the 15. It doesn't have to be boom.
We are here today to introduce our proposal to cancel $50,000 in student debt.
We need at least a $50,000 minimum. What will you do to make that happen?
I will not make that happen.
Like, do you notice they're just kind of confused, tying themselves in a knot, like they don't know which way they want to go? Well, let me start with a caveat. They're not actually confused. They are apologetic corporatists. That's what I'm going to call them. They know that they are pro-corporations, but they can't admit to it. Today, the modern Democratic Party markets itself as a party of the working class, the black and brown communities, the highly educated, the Wall Street and the Hollywood elites, the culturally woke, and increasingly the suburban professional managerial class. This is an untenable coalition. Now, some of these things can go together, like you can be sort of culturally woke and also support corporate-friendly policies, which is why JP Morgan Chase, a bank, can sponsor a Pride Parade float. But some of these things can't possibly go together. You can't be a party of both Wall Street and Main Street. It doesn't work. The policies and ideologies are just too incongruent to execute with any degree of coherence. In terms of the marketing and the branding, they like to espouse this message of Scranton versus Park Avenue, but in practice, they're 100% Park Avenue, which is how you go from promising immediate $2,000 checks in the first week for working people to then $1,400 because they say you already got $600 some other time, so $600 plus $1,400 equals $2,000, to now a month later, still no check at all. To me, that's some BS right there. Or to use Biden's own words, give me a break, that's a bunch of malarkey. So what are they planning to do about this? Specifically, how are they planning on holding together this coalition? Matt Karp, in a Jacobin article titled "The Politics of a Second Gilded Age," wrote, "The 2016 election showed what a Democratic defeat looks like under this arrangement. A total wipeout in every branch of the federal government with losses at the state level too. Perhaps just as troubling, 2020 has shown what victory looks like. Just enough suburban votes for Democrats to win back the White House and the Senate, but not enough to retake a single state house or summon a convincing majority in Congress." That is bad news for the Democrats because how are they going to compete with the Republican Party who have their narrative down pat? Democrats, on the other hand, are like, well, we are working class, but we're also rich people, and we're all about diversity and equal rights, unless you're talking about fighting for better wages for union and gig workers who happen to be disproportionately from poor and minority communities. That we really have to think about. For reals, they had to remove progressive Democrat Katie Porter from the House Financial Services Committee, essentially because she was too mean to business leaders during the hearings. But then, they had to make up some procedural excuse about why she was removed. It's an absolute mess, which is why they're doing their best to perfect their theatrics, acrobatics, performance art, whatever you want to call it. Governor Cuomo has got them off to a great start here with a recent Emmy win. But really, their true strategy is the return of Q. So as the QAnon conspiracy loses steam in the real world, after Q's grand plan failed to materialize, Democratic politicians and the mainstream media continue to pour gasoline on a fire that is petering out, with Nancy Pelosi dubbing her colleague Kevin McCarthy QCA, which the media loved, and Chris Cuomo on CNN minting a new nickname for the GOP, calling them GOPQ. They're doing this because if the Democratic Party can create a new boogeyman and make every election existential, like focusing on removing Trump or stopping Q, they never have to get into any serious policy discussions. And while the strategy might work, it's pretty bad news for the future of America because it essentially means that nothing is going to fundamentally change. Well, if you're a donor or a politician, which I don't think you are, this is actually perfect. It's politics as usual, focus on protecting the status quo, maybe throw out a few campaign promises, but if you end up not being able to deliver, no worries, because where else are you going to go? But things will suck for everyone else. If you're one of these back to brunch, look at me, I'm such a good person type liberal, while you might be racking up some brownie points online for the next few years, nobody's life will actually be getting any better, which leads to more and more people supporting reactionary and potentially authoritarian fringe candidates, and then you'll be left wondering why, in a few years, Trump is back. And more importantly, if you're a person who cares about creating an America that truly embraces a strong multiracial working class, it's gonna suck even more because under this Biden coalition, there's gonna be no real chance for any change. No Medicare for all, no minimum wage increase, no student debt relief, no campaign finance reform, which leaves us with only one future, so eloquently expressed by Dr. Cornel West.
When Biden and Harris get in there, if they still tied to Wall Street, still tied to the militarism, AFRICOM in Africa, if they still tied to not dealing with quality public education, if they're still tied to their same old neoliberal elites, then we're just going to have another slow disaster rather than a quick catastrophe.
Oh, I love Cornel West. Anyway, those are my thoughts for the week about the problems with the modern day Democratic Party. They've idolatrized their leaders in such a cringe way. Like, look at this mural. Stacey Abrams is nothing like Frederick Douglass. Like, comparing the two is comical. The Democrats, they love to criticize how much of a mess the Republican Party is, which is true, but they themselves have created this unsustainable and dishonest coalition, which results in them kowtowing to Wall Street while gaslighting literally everyone else. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Also, like and share this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want more. My name is James Lee. I appreciate your time, and I will see you next week.